Effects of habitat structure, human disturbance, and habitat connectivity on urban forest bird communities. So first we're going to talk about evolution. What is evolution? Evolution is a process by which different kinds of living organisms are thought to have developed and changed from earlier forms during the history of Earth, or a gradual change in species over time. Factors like change in one's environment can affect the way an organism evolves and manages how to live. So in this study, we are discovering how bird species may be affected by changes through their environments in an urban setting. This article discusses how local bird habitat structure and species variance is influenced by human disturbance in a metropolitan area of Seoul, South Korea. This research focuses on forest bird assemblages in small patches or urban green spaces, as they are known as ecological indicators of habitat structure and human disturbance. These green spaces are those areas in a city reserved for parks or landscape. Here, the researchers studied how local habitat characteristics, human disturbance, and habitat connectivity influence the diversity of forest bird communities in 44 small forest patches embedded in an urbanized landscape. This article gives value to the forest bird communities in urban areas because they are seen as a conservation target because of their functions in food webs and ecosystem services. The findings of this article are overall trying to invite ecologists and urban planners to develop more thoughtful guidelines on how to design and manage a more sustainable urban ecosystem. The study. The study was conducted in Seoul and surrounding cities of South Korea, one of the most densely populated places in the world with a population of over 10 million people. The researchers took bird surveys across selected urban green patches, seeing what kinds of species and species richness and abundance. They examined the difference between newly established and remnant patches throughout the city. Newly established being those that are mainly parks with trees and vegetation, and remnant patches being those that have never been cleared for urban development. Researchers also examined the human population density per patch. The results. So 44 forest patches were selected, 46 species and 1,925 individual birds were observed. The researchers used transect lines large enough to cover these patch areas. All birds heard or seen within 25 meters of those sides of the transect line were recorded. Species richness, the total number of recorded bird species within each survey patch, and abundance, the average number of individuals counted across all surveys as a patch. Estimates were derived for each patch. Using Poisson distribution, binomial models, partitions, and R-squared values to determine the correct mathematics for examining human disturbance on various aspects of bird diversity, they are able to draw numerous conclusions. These conclusions include: even small forest patches in a highly urbanized region can support a significant functional diversity of bird communities. Confirms that yes, there is variance throughout urban patches of bird species. That newly established sites have more than 500 visitors per day, while there were less than 50 people per day to remnant patches. And patch type, classified by the levels of human disturbance, was the most important variable for total species richness and bird abundance. Total species richness and abundance were significantly higher in the remnant patches than in the newly established forest patches. And this overall concludes that the less human involvement, the better bird habitat structure. So, what are possible solutions to the problem? So, management strategies for the conservation of urban forest birds, therefore, should consider not only local improvements in habitat structure through increased patch size, reduced human disturbance, and increased vegetation complexity, but also the maintenance of habitat connectivity, the degree to which separate patches of habitats are connected. Greater habitat connectivity means animals are able to travel between these patches. It is important because this connectivity enables gene exchange and other crucial exchanges. Therefore, understanding how to plan and manage small green spaces to maintain or even enhance biodiversity can be of great benefit to policymakers, planners, and urban residents. Accordingly, the first management alternative for urban bird conservation might aim to increase the area of existing green space patches.